This Sunday, Super Bowl 56, the Cincinnati Bengals are going to Los Angeles to go up against the Los Angeles Rams. The AFC's Bengals, the NFC's Rams, and it's going to be quite an epic matchup. So we have the best in the Productive Conversations football crew to give our picks and predictions for the big game on Sunday. Always joining us is Bryan McKeon. What's going on with the clean shaven today? What's going on, buddy?
A little baby face for this one.
Excellent. And then we have Alex Ranniello. What's up, Alex?
Happy to be back, my man. Let's talk some football.
Yeah, or is this the real Alex, I should say?
This is the real one. Stand up.
Great to hear. And everybody, fight against Instagram hacks. Fight against it. Report it. If you see something, say something. All right, guys. We've waited since the beginning of September for this. It's Super Bowl Sunday, once and for all. So we reviewed how these two teams got here last week. So I guess now let's look at the big picture. Then we'll, go over some things, compare the numbers together, and then we'll ultimately give our picks. So basically, the big broad question I'm going to throw to you guys first. Who would have thought it was going to be Bengals and Rams? What do you guys think of the matchup as a whole right now? Like, what comes to mind?
Any given Sunday. Like, it's just, that's the good thing about football. It's not a series where the true winner comes out. If you expect to win a game or a series, right? In other sports, like you have that one game where anything goes and anything could happen. So the spontaneity about it, you get the underdog story, like having the Bengals in this. The return of Stafford from the icy north of Detroit, coming in right now to the sunny LA and taking the team all the way to the Super Bowl in the first year. This is a good story, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, that's what really sticks out from this matchup right away for me is when Matt Stafford became a Ram in the offseason. People, do that bias, say, oh, they're definitely going to the Super Bowl now. And, well, I guess this genius move initiated from Sean McVay shows his reason on why he is looked at as a guru. And if he finally wins that Super Bowl, he's only adding on to that legendary status for a guy who's only 38 years old. Insane. What do you think about this matchup as a whole, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great game either way. I feel like it's going to be a real highlight show. No, I mean, I just you never count out the underdog. You gotta take every guy and not take him for granted. I was very pleasantly surprised with the maturation of Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow. I'm just absolutely shocked. Even a week and a half later, we're still talking about how they overachieved this year, and it's just amazing to see. I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled this off. But shout out to the Rams. I mean, they're a balanced team. They play all three phases, and it's going to be a good game either way. I mean, I'm excited to see how both teams react right out of the gate, and I'm excited to see how what Sean McVay has in terms of the upper hand with his second half adjustments. I think that he's really a second half coach, a guy who can assess what he's seen on the field and make changes that are going to win them the game. So it's going to be good. I think the Rams are going to come out a little cold. I think they're going to play it safe. I think Stafford, this is a big moment. The Bengals feel like they got nothing to lose and they're going to come out hot. But I think the second half, it'll ultimately come down to the adjustments that McVay makes.
Hear that. And talk about Zach Taylor, his first two seasons, 2-14, then 4-11, goes 10-7 with the wild card spot. And he adds on to his stock as a coach. Look at that. And yeah, I didn't think when we saw Joe Burrow get carted off the field in what was an empty COVID stadium towards the later half of the 2020 season. And now the man beat Patrick Mahomes to go to the AFC, to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, that shock pick. I mean, people thought they were going to add to their line in the draft, and they picked Jamar Chase at number 5, I believe. And I mean, talk about underdog story. We'll definitely describe that matchup too. What you were saying?
People were mocking them. I mean, I think right out of the gate, I think they were saying, why can't you go into the season drafting a left tackle? Why don't you pick Rashawn Slater or Penei Sewell out of Oregon? But I mean, they put the trust and the faith in Joe Burrow as the face of that organization from day one. And they said, despite all the blunders that owner has had and being cheap reputably over the years, I think he just put all his chips in the table, at the center of the table for Burrow. He said, you're the guy, you're in the front seat, and you're going to make the decisions for us.
And look what has led to, seriously, great moves all around. And what can you complain? I think this is what's great about Joe Burrow. We have an honest, wholesome, genuine top football star that doesn't have an annoying brother or an annoying wife or has a crazy past tweeting or, this, that, and the other. We can just cheer for Joe Burrow for being just a cool, authentic dude. So lots to be excited for there. So I guess after saying all of that, why don't we look at the matchup itself? Super Bowl 56. Let's look at some early numbers right here. At this moment, as we record on the Tuesday before the Super Bowl, the 8th, the Rams are a 4.5-point favorite. The spread is 4 even. And the money line minus 190 for the Rams and plus 160 for the Bengals. So, and the over-under for total score is 48.5. So I think it's fair to say that people believe that the Rams are going to win. And I think that will be the case. As much as I am excited to see Joe Burrow and the Rams take it, I think the game is really going to be split up into one major matchup. Your inexperienced and weaker offensive line versus one of the most intimidating pass rushes in the National Football League led by Aaron Donald. I think that would be the key to the matchup. Now, we saw them hold their own enough against a Chiefs team and then a number 1 ranked Titans team. But I mean, this is the real deal. With this Rams team, you have a player who's on top of their game. Cooper Kupp could be arguably being an MVP. You have Odell Beckham, who has risen the ranks. People really thought that he wouldn't, contribute as much, and he has. You have him as an option. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey, top defensive back in the league, and if not number 1. As I mentioned, Aaron Donald, 3-time defensive player of the year, still at the top of his game, made a crucial final play against Jimmy G to ultimately win the NFC, so he could clearly play with that energy throughout the entire game. And then, with a key pickup in Von Miller to help those linebackers out there. And he's playing as good as he was in an amazing offseason. And also at the addition of Eric Weddle being a rejuvenated player, the defensive backside as well. This defense is going to be tough, and I can't think it can overmatch the Bengals offense. And remember, one thing I said, Joe Mixon needed to have a good game, especially in the AFC Championship. I don't see him making much progress against the Rams line. And I'm going to give it as a final score of 27-18. No, I'm going to go with 27-19. I think Keith McPherson will have a bunch of field goals, and I think they'll just have a hard time to get success in the red zone beyond that. And I just think with this offensive juggernaut where Cooper Kupp can have like 11 catches for 140 yards, and then Odell Beckham with like 6 catches for 100, Cam Akers being rejuvenated, and then you have Sonny Mitchell in the backfield as well. I think this will ultimately complete the journey for the Rams. And for somebody who put everything into this one season, you lose this game, it'll be a huge underachievement. And then people will question Sean McVay's legacy if he can be known as somebody who gets his team to the big game but can't ultimately win it. So that's what I say with this matchup. What do you guys think across the board? How do you guys see this game going?
I see the same way. I think that, the Bengals are ahead of schedule by about like 2-3 years at this point. So, yeah, like would I like to see the underdog win? Absolutely. But I feel that the Rams have the better built up roster. The defense, I think it's going to come down to defense because they equally have, I would even say the Bengals probably have a better offense than the Rams just as a system, because the Rams run game I don't really trust as much as I do trust the Bengals run game. It also depends for the Rams on the health of Andrew Whitworth, who's playing his former team, because that will knock down their run game even more for left tackle. The weak point of the offense for the Bengals is the offensive line, even though we've saw that with 9 sacks on the Titans, Joe Burrow was still able to pull out the win. So he can take pressure. So it really, I think it's going to come down to defensive game and turnovers, and that's where I think the Rams are going to make those plays. I'm expecting a Super Bowl 50 kind of game between Von Miller and Aaron Donald, where it's just a ton of sacks and a couple of forced fumbles. I think combined for them, both of them might combine for 3.5 plus sacks, and I think a forced fumble. I think it's going to be a good game. And I also think that the Rams, right, they need to win a Super Bowl, right? Sean McVay needs to prove that he can win the big game. And you also have a lot of guys on that team that need that Super Bowl to put that Hall of Fame eligibility and to keep on pushing that a little bit more. You know what I mean? I can't name one person right now in the Bengals who has any chance of the Hall of Fame right now, but I can name about 10 on the Rams. So, that one ring, it would mean a lot. And for score, I think it's going to be 28-17 Rams.
Okay. Great analysis right there, Brian. Alex, we'd all love to hear what you got to say about the big game.
I'm going to go 24-21 on this. I'm going to go walk-off, McPherson, Super Bowl 56. I'm taking the underdogs. I just believe in Burrow. I think he's the hottest commodity, the hottest big thing in the AFC right now. I think that this team has just such a chip on his shoulders, and they've been playing so loosey-goosey. I'm a big psychology guy, and I look at the Rams, I look at Stafford, and he checks all the boxes. He looks like he's McVay's guy, but there's just some reservation at the biggest stages I just don't believe in. Now, again, he's had impressive wins, and he's made one hell of a run to make it here. But there's just something I don't trust with him on this biggest stage. And I think they have all the right pieces. I mean, they check every box at all three phases of the game, but there's just some magic with Burrow, man. And if this is the year to do it, it's going to be this year.
Okay, sweet. Now, if there were to be an upset, and we do have the Bengals taking over the Rams, I was just wondering, Brian, what do you think would have to go wrong with the Rams to let that thing happen? Is it similar to what Alex's take, or what do you think is the other perspective? How would the Bengals defeat this intimidating defense?
Stafford's going to have to throw 2 interceptions, or there's going to have to be 2 fumbles on the running backs in this game. And key, and I'm not talking about just, first quarter, like first, second drive. I'm talking about like second half, like third quarter, like momentum shifts. Like it's going to take a legit surge of energy, I think, for this Bengals team to win. And that's not because I think a knock on them. I just think that the Rams they're built too well, and the pressure is all on them. And McVay is a student of the game to the point that he's going to make sure that this game's good. Like in my eyes, if they lose this Super Bowl, they have to rebuild and just try to get rid of all this money, even though they're going to take dead cap, because they have the perfect team. So what could you do now?
Yeah, for somebody who ended Tom Brady's career, and then let's be down, talk about underachieve, as I said. And I'll ask the same thing with Alex. If your prediction doesn't go the way it should, what would the Bengals have to do to not pull off this great upset? How do you think the Rams would take it on?
I mean, they're going to play their game plan. They know how to, go down the field with a balanced attack with Sony Michelle and Cam Akers, and they're going to try to get Cooper Kupp in one-on-one coverage. And if they double him, then Beckham's going to have his opportunities all evening long. So I think the opportunities will be there. It's just a matter of, will they reduce the penalties? Are they going to take care of the football? The secondary for Cincinnati was really heating up the second half of the year. Not only just their front four, but their corners, obviously infamously with the Chiefs game and how it ended. And they're going to have to be careful. Stafford's going to have to be really crystal clear in the pocket, and he's going to have to be sharp. So I'm counting on a couple turnovers to change this game.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same thing. If in terms of a Rams loss, it would have to be a sloppy, terrible game. And for a team as also just to support what Brian was saying, a team that doesn't really have any weaknesses on paper, it would be hard to mess that up against this Bengals team while you're in your home stadium as well. So they do not want to follow suit.
Yeah, and certainly pressure is a factor. I mean, being at home and having all the expectations, they put all their chips to the center of the table. This is a lot to ask of this team, and they've answered the bell all year, but there's just no other game like it, and it's going to come down to turnovers and taking care of the football.
Yeah, and throughout, as this week is gone, I've heard a lot of people, majority of the media say they feel it'll be a blowout, even though the Vegas odds keep it at only a 4-point game.
Yeah.
I think it just maybe undervalues or even undermines this matchup as a whole for people to think that this team that has so many secret weapons on it, especially the Bengals, and again, especially the Keith McPherson aspect, you could be comfortable with this rookie getting 56, 55, 54-yard field goals. So it could just be a game of getting into good field position. And again, if you could just pressure Stafford, who so far in these 2 games he's had, I would say 2 really good games, 1 okay game. And, you just have to beat that weakness side of him.
Yep.
So, yeah. Just a quick other few fun things. 1, do you think the national anthem by Mickey Guyton will be over under 2.5 minutes? I say it's going to be under. Simply, I don't know who she is. I'm sure she's talented, but this is one of the biggest prop bets of the year for some reason. Do you guys think, if you had to suggest to our audience if they were going to vote, where would they go?
I'm taking the over. A little LA sun might hit her in the eye and she might lose a few seconds, so I might go over that.
Hey, still counts. What do you say, Alex?
I'm sorry, what?
Over under 2.5 minutes for the national anthem. For our listeners at home.
They're going to drag that sucker out. I'm going to go over.
Okay. So all of us at that. Let's go. Is there any Super Bowl commercial that you're particularly excited for or heard about? I heard there's going to be a Freaky PETA commercial coming. I really did. Whatever that means.
Bud Light one. There's always a good Bud Light one.
Definitely. The Clydesdale hits the heart every time. So, I mean, for $5.5 million, is $7 million a commercial better be good. And then my last thing, are you guys hyped for the halftime show? Do you think it'll be good? Do you think it'll be epic? Do you think it's gonna suck? You have Dr. Dre performing with Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar. Do you think this might change music forever? Do you think this might change the world? I think so. This might be one of the most significant moments in hip hop history, right here, right now.
One of those big unifiers.
Yes, it'll bring the Gen Zs, the millennials together, and then the Gen X's and the Boomers are gonna hate it. That is my prediction.
Oh boy.
I agree with that. When's the last time Snoop and Dre like played together?
A long time.
Yeah.
I know at least they did that Tupac hologram show, I think 10 years ago. Do you think somebody's going to be coming back from the dead?
That'd be insane. That'd be insane. Like California Love comes on and the hologram of Tupac with Dre. Oof.
Oh man. And then you have Eminem come out, and then Kendrick Lamar, they reenact 8 Mile. They have Anthony Mackie come in. Like I said, it's gonna be an insane time. Well, like I said, short and sweet, guys. You let it all out on all standpoints, whether pop culture, whether the game itself. I think this is going to be a very, very fun Super Bowl to watch either way. Don't forget to tune in, as we're going to be doing an instant reaction show as soon as the game is over, as we reflect on this epic matchup, hopefully, and hopefully not a dud. Hopefully it's a special one. We need a Super Bowl 48, not a Super Bowl, 50. We want a good, hardcore game. So I think that's what we're going to get. Is there any other final words, guys, you have about Super Bowl 56 before we head into it Sunday?
Hopefully there's not that many penalties. I want to really just I want to see the teams play. No controversial calls. The lights don't go out. I want to see the game.
I hear that.
That'd be nice.
You got anything, Alex?
Oh, just word to the wise with you guys, man. I'm excited. I hope it's a close nail biter, and we'll take it from there.
All right. We're looking forward to it. Bryan and Alex, thank you again. And I'm looking forward to reflecting on this matchup with you as soon as it's over. Thank you so much and have a great night.
Yes, sir.
Have a good night, boys.
Gentlemen.